Hey everyone, welcome back to Our Minds Lifestyle. We focus on finances, relationships, and more.
What's up, you guys? My name is Ethan Belay, and this is the one and only,
Okay, now I'm Belay.
yes. What's
She
up?
done messed me up now because I'm like, and joining us.
Ethan Belay. We just gonna keep going back and forth.
And K Don Belay.
Right.
And welcome to Our Minds Lifestyle. We're gonna start from the top.
You just call it OML. It's a long
No,
name.
it's okay. People like that name.
Who?
Everybody.
Okay.
Everyone
Yes.
says they like
Welcome
it.
to OML, also known as Our Minds Lifestyle.
No, we gotta have
Podcast.
a lot of podcasts have like their own like chant. Not, you know what I mean? Like their thing. We gotta come up with something.
OML.
That's not a chant. Like, you know how some people will be like, they'll just do different things where it's like a melody or something.
I feel you, because my guy Mediocre Tutorial and Reviews, he shortened it to MTR.
That's what he calls it.
Because it's mediocre tutorials
long.
and reviews. Like, that's
It's long.
like, bro.
Welcome back to OML.
Right.
Say it like that?
OML.
Well, no. Welcome back to OML.
I like OML better. Just say it smooth.
But can you at least just try it how I said it? Just to
No.
see? Please try it.
No.
Just
'cause I'm
for
gonna look
my
goofy.
humor. Come on.
I know I'm going to look goofy
Let's
saying
do it, please.
Welcome to OML.
No, he's trying to look crazy. Anyway, guys, that was our intro. Welcome back to Our Minds
It's Saturday.
Lifestyle.
We went to brunch and we
We
had
did go to
endless
brunch.
mimosas, so you know how that goes.
Yes, but on a serious note, what we're going to talk about today is regarding just life struggles that we have dealt with as an adult. Because
And how we got through them.
and how we got through
we're
them, because
getting
there's a
through
lot
'em.
of people
Yeah.
that just have questions and they feel like what they're dealing with is the end of the world or like they're not
Yeah.
going to overcome it. And I just want to kind of talk about what was our biggest struggle this year or in general as us being an adult.
You want to know what the biggest struggle for me is right now?
What?
I just got braids for the first time, and my head itch. And like now I feel like, you know how they be slapping their head. That's how I'm like, bro. Like I'm just.
So your
ready to
biggest
take it
struggle
out.
is your head itching
Yeah,
with
I'm probably
braids.
gonna
You don't want to
take it out
mess them
today.
up.
I only had it for a few days, and I'm already.
But you know what's
going
gonna
to
look crazy is when you take it out. What are you gonna do after that?
I'm gonna just pick it out and then sponge it.
Okay.
I'm just like, bro.
All right. So is that your serious answer?
No. My serious answer. To be honest with you, like, just get into that next level.
What do you feel like is inhibiting you from getting to that next level?
Because where you're currently at, right? Let's say, I feel like maintaining, when you're used to maintaining something, that's like the standard. So no matter what you're born into this world with, it's like that's the standard. So you're already used to that. But to even achieve more is like, it takes a certain drive out of you. It's lonely. It is really lonely. I will honestly say, like, I'm fortunate that I have a great relationship with you, but like really it's lonely because I be wanting to, like, I even told you yesterday, I was like, man, I wish I could just hit up some friends and just go out and have some drinks and turn up. Like, but it's like, also ain't trying to spend no extra money when I go out either. Like I'm over here I'm penny pinching because it's not because I'm broke, but just because like everything extra I wanted to go to something to make me more.
Right.
So
like
it's
we have something that, well, and we're gonna actually get into that as well. But yes, you're right. Go ahead.
So like that, and then just like everybody has their own lives. So it's like, you know, when I'm so like my free time, like when I'm off of work, me being off of work is my most important time. That's what I've been telling myself, like, yo, like, when you get off work, don't start moving slow. Hustle like you was at work, bruh. Like, when you punctual about making sure you get back from your break on time, be punctual about getting the podcast done, or be punctual about editing a song or a video, or be punctual about building your e-commerce, be punctual about researching and reading books. Like, you know, because I went to school, I went to college, but it's not in the market that I'm looking to invest in. So like, I'm starting over from scratch. So I'm putting myself through college of the world. Like, I'm learning online, reading books, studying. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but it's lonely because nobody really cares about you when you're going through that growing phase. Like, nobody cares. Like I'm a rapper, producer, and all of that, but I'm not the next Sonny Digital or Pharrell or Kanye. I'm not gonna say I'm not the next, but like I'm saying, like, I'm not them. I'm not on that level yet. So like, people don't care about a new song that I just did. Like, I might get a few friends because they support me, but like, so because I'm at where I'm at, it's very lonely because nobody can really relate to the struggles that I have. People like me, you know what I mean, but they got their own stuff going on as well.
Right.
So, and the only way people are gonna dive into what you have going on is if it's blown up, and that's where it's like, that's why I feel like the world is kind of bitter, because it's like, you know, you see a lot of you see it on Instagram with the reels and the sounds, or TikTok. They'd be like, you know, like, don't talk to me now while I'm grinding. Don't. Same stuff I've been telling you when I was grinding, trying to build it. It's the same thing, you know what I'm saying, I'm charging for now. Like, it's like, you know, it's kind of like that back then, they didn't want me, now I'm hot, they all on me type of vibe. It's like the world is so bitter because of that. It's understanding because It's like everybody has their own life going on. So I think that's the biggest struggle for me, is like, I want to be extremely successful, but building it is not easy. What about you?
It's not. And honestly, that's kind of where I've been at lately, because with me, I've been having my struggle has been working a 9 to 5. You know, I love my job. I'm grateful for my job, but it's not my passion. So with me working that job where I'm at as of right now, and then having to get off of work and getting straight back to work, I feel like the thing that I'm actually struggling with is to be able to detach from work, because I feel like I'm just work. Everything's working. Everything's me thinking of how can I work something right now? How am I being productive? And I'm also realizing the more that I'm doing that, I'm not always productive. And I always feel like I'm working, but I'm not always working, if that makes sense. And I think that I have to really learn how to work more efficiently, so that I'm not always working. But then, you said I did good today?
Yeah. Well, when we went, you did good last night too.
I don't even remember yesterday.
That was the first time we like went somewhere and
Oh,
was, like,
yeah. No, honestly, we vibe really good.
Yeah, and sometimes that's important because it makes you want to get back to it. Like, all right, I had a breather, now I can go back and get to like what I'm doing.
So yesterday was a good vibe for you too?
Yeah,
just
it was
being
a good
out?
vibe, yeah.
And see, that what happened yesterday is we went to dinner, and we were going to go to dinner to get like a breath of fresh air, get out the house. I think the server
was feeling this though.
And she could have, who knows? But we're not talking about that today. But I feel like when we go out sometimes, because me and you work together, we build business together. If you guys know anything about our relationship, we really spend a lot of time together because we're friends first. So you are my best friend. I have other friends, but you are my best friend because you know more about me than anyone, you know what I mean, outside of some family members. So because of that, you were considered my best friend. And just because we're in a relationship doesn't mean that you can't be my best friend as well, if that makes sense. So we spent a lot of time together because I thoroughly just like being around you. It's not like, oh, it's my dude. Like, I don't even look at like I'm out with my dude, which sometimes that can actually be a struggle that we deal with too, where I have to like, no, am I out with my dude or am I out with my friend? And sometimes, like today when we were out, like we went to IKEA, went shopping, you know, looking for some furniture to design our house. And I was like, you know what, let me hold his hand. Like, let me just try to like, I'm your girl, you know what I mean? And show you that vibe, because I also know like that's an affection and love language for you as well. And I guess to sum up my struggle, sounds like I got a lot of struggles. I guess separating business from pleasure is really hard for me. And separating business from our relationship, it has been really hard for me. Like, there's times if we want to get really, really technical, there's even times with like when we want to be intimate with each other that I cannot stop thinking about business, to the point where it has to start feeling like a chore a little bit when it shouldn't feel like that. Like, I have to really detach from everything. So me personally, one thing I've learned is that like I have to have a vibe, to be honest. And if I have a vibe where it's like, okay, this is the vibe, I'm not thinking about work or nothing, then I feel like our sex life is always better that time because we're thoroughly just enjoying each other. And when we went out yesterday, we thoroughly just enjoyed each other. And
We
it's
didn't even
going
have sex
on. It's
last
going
night.
on.
That's the
nine-
crazy part. We literally
and we didn't even have sex last night.
We literally watched Rick and Morty. We went out, got some dinner, came back to the house, laughed around the house a little bit. Then we watched Rick and Morty and was like talking and laughing through that, like actively talking through it, laughing through it, all the way up until like we fell asleep.
Was that fun for you, or do you feel like
It was
like
chill.
was
It was
that
a
still a
fulfilling
good night?
No, it was a fulfilling night.
Okay, because you know that TikTok where
I
they're
was
like,
drunk,
if
but
I ain't getting
like,
none last night, I wake up like, hey, what's up, bro?
That depends. Sometimes it be some nights I be wanting to end the night on an intimate night, but like sometimes it just don't always be that. Like, you know, it was cool just laughing with you and vibing with you. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like with being in a relationship, sometimes I am learning. So I also feel like in relationships, you have to learn to be in a relationship. Like everyone can be in a relationship, but everyone doesn't understand what it takes to be in a relationship. So people want relationships, but it's like you have to really ask yourself, do you want a relationship? Because it's more than just like, you know, was it smile and giggles or something like that?
Yeah, I think what people fail to realize when it comes to relationships and why marriages fail is because, like, it's no longer about only you.
Right.
That's the thing. Like, it's no longer about only you for real. And it's like you're on a mission. You're literally on a mission at that point. Both genders, male and female, because it's shit that both genders sacrifice.
Because you do have to still remain your identity and still do things that you like, but you in a relationship,
Y'all got an
you have
identity
to
now.
really do
Y'all are
things that
the
you know
new
the other
identity.
person would like too. So like, for example, there's certain things I know that, for example, we just played a game, and when you talked about how you like to wake up in the morning, I know that if I could wake you up with sex or some form of sexual interaction in the morning, you would thoroughly enjoy that. I enjoy it too. But in the morning for me sometimes,
that would be nice to wake up.
in the morning for me sometimes, I'm literally like, I have to feel like I have to turn back into a human. So sometimes like for me, like I feel like we both like it, but somebody has to make the initiative is what I'm getting at. So like if I wake up first or you wake up, we both make that initiative to wake the other person up. And most of the time, like waking that person up with like sex or food or whatever they just want. You know what I mean? You kind of know the person. Like if I'm on my period, you're probably not waking me up with sex, but maybe waking me up with a massage or with food, or just trying to really just take the initiative to really make that person feel good. And I feel like if people would do that, I think that's one thing that starts to go, like people do it in the beginning of relationships, but they don't do it throughout the relationship.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like in the beginning of a relationship, it's really easy
in
to
the
have that
show-off
puppy
phase.
love.
Yeah.
But if you really could keep that and really just think about what makes that person happy, I had this other saying we'll get into as well. But for example, I have this, well, I'm actually going to get into it right now because it's a good segue. So I didn't grow up with my sisters on my mom's side, right? Mm-hmm. And because I didn't grow up with them, when they got older, I had to rebuild a relationship with them. But I used to tell you this all the time. I have to create the relationship I want. So if I want my sister to hit me up and say, hey, good morning, beautiful, or hey, sis, how you doing? Have a great day. What do I have to do? I have to make that first step. So I would send my sister text. I would say, hey, how are you doing? You know, how are you going? And then it rubbed off on her to the point where now she's sending me those texts. So if we go a few days and she hasn't messaged me or I haven't messaged her, somebody send us texts. And you transfer that into a relationship with your spouse, you still do the same thing. Like some of the things, like you are really good with, like, we're in the same house and we'll still text sometimes. You'll still send me funny things. Like I would say, like, the things that I fell in love, the things that you done that made me fall in love with you, I feel like you still do to this day.
To this
You could
day.
probably do a little
To
more.
this day.
You could do, but you still do to this day.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I feel that. I definitely feel that.
Do you feel like you still do those things to this day?
I just do me. That's it. I just try to do me, and if she loves
So you're
that,
saying you ain't switched up, is what you're saying?
yeah,
You're like, all I know is me.
Yeah, I try not to change up. Like I change up a little bit every once in a
You
while.
evolve.
Yeah, I evolve, but like just being a different person. Like we're gonna grow into different people, but like also too, like I just try to make it a little easier for you. And like if I can make life a little easier for you, that's kind of like what it's like. All right, Like if I can make sure, like with me, like all right, well I know we always like to go places. We never know when we about to go on a little road trip or whatever. We might fly out. I always try to make sure the car running well, make sure the security on the crib is good. You know what I'm saying? There's other things that I like to do, but I'm just only speaking on a few. But like, yeah, I do believe that like we're on a mission though. I really feel like we're just like on the
And
same
I think what
path.
makes it easy for our relationship to continue to keep, because it's going on 10 years next year. And I think there's been a lot of struggles that we can even get into, but later that we had to overcome in our relationship. But I think what helps us to keep overcoming those obstacles is the fact that the love that we do have for each other, and then the fact that we both are
Yeah.
moving in the same way. Because like if I was not as motivating or if me and you didn't have the same goals in common, we wouldn't be together to this day.
No, I agree.
I know we wouldn't have, but I would say there's some relationships where people just start growing, and it's okay. Like if you and your significant other's growing in two different ways, it is okay that's y'all were just there for those seasons. And for us, we may get to that point where hey, our seasons have came to a end, but as of right now, we are still in that season, and I think that's what's beautiful about our relationship. And I think that's good we know, because we do talk about exit strategies. So we do have a plan for the day that we aren't together, and it's not like we're planning to break up, but it's just reality. We don't know what the next 20 years, 15, 5, 10 years looks like. So.
Yeah. No, and that's true. I mean, it's just I do feel like it is about coming together, because to be honest with you, like you see what the world looks like. Nobody gives a fuck about each other anymore. They really don't. Because the only reason I know this is because, like, I'm less liable to give a fuck about the nigga next to me.
Do you
or
think
the girl
that's the
next to
older
me.
you're getting?
No, not really. I just think it's
Or
just
more
like,
experiences you're having?
I think it's the more experience. The older you get, the more experiences you're getting. So yes and yes. And then also the older you start to get, like, I mean, I'm only 28, but like I grew up really fast. So like in my mind, I do feel like I feel like I'm a kid at heart, but it's weird. It's like I feel like a kid at heart, but I also feel like an old man at heart. Cause I just be like looking at people and it just be like, what you're doing makes zero sense. Like you're not even thinking logically, and you can't even see that you're not thinking. You're so immersed in your own perspective that you don't even know you're not thinking logically.
But I also think that's just phases in life that we have to go through.
Yeah,
Because
I
like
feel you,
even
but,
with
like,
us, we have
humans
friends.
are stupid. Humans are retarded.
Speaking for ourselves, yeah.
I hate
There's
the
been
word.
times,
I hate the word retarded. I probably shouldn't use that word.
There's been times that I feel like I've made some mistakes or done some things. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Why am I doing this?
Like human beings are really like.
But some of our friends, right? We have friends all ages. We have friends older than us, younger than us, same age. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
All ages. But I would say friends that are older than us and younger than us, we find ourselves not always seeing eye to eye, just because everyone's in a phase. And we'll start to see the phase of the people older than us, but until we get there, I think that's the part of like the process of life where you literally have to go through the process, and there's no outlearning it, outgrowing it. You can't do anything but just go with the flow.
Yeah. One thing that I do like though about you is that like you're so invested in our relationship that like my money is your money, and not in the sense of like I want to spend it all. It's like because it is your money, I don't want you spending it all. Like it's been times where I've been wanting to like take you out to certain places. You be like, bro, you're like, no, I don't even want to go there. I don't even want you spending that amount of money on me right now, because I know we have goals. Like we are literally having goals. Like we have goals out the wazoo, and it's like going to this place for the night is gonna feel good, but like nah, it's cool. Like let's just wait. Like let's just go to the other spot. Like that right there, that shit. I'm telling you, it goes so. Cause that means so much more to me than like it means so much to me, because like it really like literally like.
So you don't want me to be that person that doesn't think about your money, and just like, all right, babe, I'm gonna
No,
go here.
as my girl, you're supposed to want to build. Because to be honest, outside of what Instagram tells everybody, and rappers and singers and all that shit, like this modern day hip hop lifestyle shit, like outside of all of that, bro, the whole purpose of sex is to have children. That's the only purpose of sex. That's why Elon Musk said it. He said sex has a purpose. He said having sex without a purpose is humorous. Like what's the point? What are you doing if you're not having a child after sex? So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that every time. Like, don't get me wrong. I have humorous sex a lot because I love sex. Don't get me wrong. But like, but even though I'm having fun, I can't lose sight of what the purpose of things are. The purpose of me and you being in a relationship together is meant for me and you to build wealth, to have offspring, to raise those offspring, like so that and provide them with something so that way they can also do the same thing, but also enjoy life while they're doing it. Like my actions will have consequences in my offspring's life, and that's what's like. So if we decide to have a kid before we reach the financial goals that we want to reach, it's gonna have a because then now they gotta grow up with an average lifestyle and barely be and start off with nothing and barely have enough. It's like so I don't know. Like I just feel like it's a balance to everything, but I also think that when you look at life, like okay, everything has a purpose.
Right.
Versus moving without a purpose. Like I'm sorry, but that whole like moving without a purpose shit don't work. And the only reason I know that is because I've been on my own since I was 15. So by the time I was 20, I was already looking to like, all right, I'm ready to settle down. I was at the age of 15.
You were trying to settle down that young?
Yeah, I was already looking for a
But why do
girl.
you think that was?
Because I already had been single on my own, had the life of being on my own and understanding that like nobody's there to save you.
So you don't regret moving into like a relationship as early as you did?
Not at all. I'm glad I did. Because to be honest with you,
You feel like your relationship saved you?
no, I don't feel that way. But I feel like the older you think about it, the older I get. I'm only 28. The older I get, the harder it is to make friends, let alone finding a relationship. And the older we get, the more stuck in our way we get, male or female. And because I met you at a young age, you was able to form to me, and because I met you at a young age, I was able to grow up and have time to develop as a leader, and I've gained an attachment to you. Like there's a time like even with me not being considered quote unquote, I would consider myself polygamous. I wouldn't consider myself monogamous or polyamorous. We could use that word because that's so freaking annoying.
Is that gonna pick up?
Hell yeah, that's gonna pick up. But back to the we'll just
All
keep
right,
it.
so
No, we're gonna
if
keep
it's gonna
rocking.
mess up, we can bring it to an end. We'll bring that
No, we
segment to
good.
an end then.
We'll bring it.
Let's bring that one to an end, so in case we can't use any other ones, we're not trashing all of it.
Right, I feel you. But
Right.
like, I'll finish this. Like to be honest with you, like I could meet. We could be 40 years because we're still young and you're still young and still have that like young pretty vibe to you. But like, so like me at 28, I'm not really like, oh, there goes a 20-year-old. Like I don't really care about that. Like you know what I'm saying. But I feel like that doesn't start kicking in until the guy hits like 40, 50. But like even if I was ever in that, I don't think that I would ever be in that phase. But like there would never be a phase where I don't like beautiful women. Like that, I'm gonna just be honest. That's just who I am. But like even still getting to that, I don't think it's gonna pick up. But even still getting to that age, what makes you more valuable than any other younger, prettier woman is the time that we've put in developing through life. That's what makes you more valuable. And the fact that through the test of time you've rolled with me, like, and you've been loyal to me. That's what makes you like that lioness that's just like, all right, I got me a fine ass lioness right there. And she mean business. So like you other bitches better bow down, like, cause she means business. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's very symbolic to me. Like the amount of time we spent and developed with each other. And I feel like you've been with, like, me and you didn't roll through shit. Like, we didn't been homeless together. We didn't slept in our cars. We didn't been at some dark places. Now we're at a place to where we're not really worried about, like, losing our roof over our head. We're not worried about our car being repossessed. We're not worried about certain things. I don't consider us broke, to be quite honest with you.
No, we're
like,
not.
We're not broke by any means. I just feel like we're not at the level that we want to be at, though. And I also feel like even when we were broke and sleeping in our cars and shit, and it was a short period of time, but it was a few times. It happened once in Ohio. The first time, and the crazy part is, it was never really situations where it was like due to us like mismanaging our apartment. Like we've never been evicted out of a place and been homeless. It's been like we had a roommate and they fuck up and now we homeless, or
Right.
like, you know what I'm saying? Like my mom's ex-husband and shit. Like that nigga being weird, we gotta leave. Now we're homeless. So it's like, all right, well, we're never going to put ourselves in that type of predicament again. We're never living with somebody else that has that type of power. So, but even in being in those situations, you got family that will, you can call your dad right now and be like, bro, me and Ethan fell out. He kicked me out. I ain't got nowhere to go. He took my bank cards, all that shit, which, that's not even how I rock. But like, this nigga took all my bank cards, kicked me out the crib, all that shit. I don't got nowhere to go. I'm literally calling you from somebody else's phone right now. He would literally be like, all right, cool, go to the nearest Walmart, Western Union, you like $2,000. I'm gonna get you back here to Maryland. I got a car for you. You already know I got my own house, so therefore, cool, you can get back on you. Like, you have a way out. With me,
You don't think you can call your mom?
I could call my mom, but like, I mean, the dynamic is different. Like, I could call your mom. I have a place to go, but like, because you're your father, and if I was a father, I would be the same way. That's the only reason I understand. My mother wouldn't save me from something. Your father would step in the way and save you from something. I would save my daughter. Like, men are more taught to stand on their own anyway. There's less people how about this? There's less people that I could call. Or that would even have it.
I get that. Because I actually had that conversation with my dad where, he transferred into starting his own business and leaving a company that he's been with for 30, 40 plus years, decided to leave them. And it is always scary when you transfer into working for someone else or working for yourself. And he has this thing where he's like, he's good right now, but he has this thing where he's like, I always want to make sure I have money to fall back on because one, I do have kids, and he has this thing where if any of my kids ever need me, I want to be able to be there to help them. That's like one of his vows that he made to himself. And another one is he also realized where he is in his life. And that's why I understand where you're at, because he feels like there's probably not a lot of people he can call if he needs to. So he always has to make sure he has his back. And I think like for us in general, even though we are in a relationship, I feel like I'm learning that where I'm at now is that there's a lot of people that I want to help, but I also am realizing I literally can't help people until I help myself.
And that's
if I'm not in a position to help myself, I can't help other people.
It been some close family. You be like, babe, you sure you don't want to try to like help them out with a little bit? I'm like, bro, we trying to figure our stuff out. Like, just because we have a little bit don't mean that because the little bit that we do have, we're gonna give it away.
And then we're gonna lose it, and then we're all gonna be trying to figure it out. And it's like, it's just that's not how it works.
Yeah, and it's like, don't get me wrong, I've helped people before in ways that I can help, but if I can't help, and it's something, especially if they keep going through the same thing, like.
And that's another thing right there. Like, if you are currently still living in the same situation and you are choosing not to get out of it when you know that you need to, those type of people, I really can't help, because until you realize that you have to get out of it. Like, I would say one thing I like about my mom is that she really doesn't, every now and then she'll start bringing stuff up where she's like, okay, I'll go stay with one of my daughters, it'll make these feel better. But like, she is choosing to take the harder route right now, and I actually do admire her about that, because she doesn't have to be taking a route. Like, she could break down. We already said, as bad as we don't want her to come here because we know the liability that it's bringing on, it's still our mom, and we would definitely, still let her come. But she's still choosing to make things work in the situation that was given to her.
But see, she's learning a lesson. She's learning a lesson right now that I feel like a lot of women are gonna have to learn. Because to be honest, I feel like because everybody loves a beautiful, attractive person around. And I feel like people are more welcoming to women being around than they are to guys being around.
Yeah, I agree.
So, because a guy has always looked at competition. Between men, we already understand it's competition. It's competition. But like, I feel like she's learned. Your mother's learning. Your mother, think about it. Like, your mother's in her 50s, right? So like, there's not a lot of guys she can call to hit up. You know what I'm saying? Like, we find that a lot of women do in situations.
Well, there used to be, but like, I also realized where my mom and what my mom. What one of the things that my mom has done that I used to be like, I just don't understand, is burning bridges. When people burn bridges, I don't get it. Like, when you have somebody that's really willing to help you, and you kind of like, I don't want to say like step on them. That's the best way I was going to put. I just don't understand it. Like, if you really have somebody that's really in your corner, why are you stepping on them?
Yeah, I never really try to burn bridges. I'll let them bitches fall though.
I mean, yeah, like if you can't hold
Them bitches,
something,
if the
something
person
up,
ain't
if, you
maintaining
know.
the bridge, if they ain't maintaining their side of the bridge like I'm maintaining my side, I'm gonna let that bitch fall. I used to be so I used to always overextend myself. Yeah, bro, I literally have like emotional traumas. Like I'm telling you, like I ain't the easiest person to deal with, but I will say though, like if I really care about you, I will go all out. I will set myself on fire for you, bro. And I've because like I've always been that person that I've overextended myself and I've always invested myself into other people and gotten nothing in return. I'm at the point now where you can call me savage if you want, but at the end of the day, like, bro, I get it now. It's a dog eat dog world because people don't give a fuck about me, bro. So why would I give a fuck about them? And the only way that I'm gonna give a fuck about you is if you show that you give a fuck about me. Your actions have to show it. I don't even care about what you say. Your actions have to show it.
Right.
And that's where I'm really starting to be in my life. It's like, all right, I'm cool with investing. It is all about sharing and all of that. I've invested myself into other projects, other people's stuff that they got going on. But like you kind of see like, all right, they really just look at me like I'm supposed to be there helping them. It's like they don't look at it as like, damn, this dude really taking time out of his day. He could be doing anything else in life, but he's taking time out of his day and investing in me. Like people don't look. That's how I look at it. Like when we did the music video for "I Do What I Want," the amount of people that showed up consistently, I was so grateful for that, bro. That I was like, it was hard for me to even tell them what to do because I was just like, I can't believe y'all motherfuckers is here.
Right.
like
And they stayed. They didn't complain about the time. I
Nah.
mean, we created the vibe. We made sure that they had drinks, they had food. We made sure that we accommodated them.
We didn't even
and
plan on paying
we
for
showed.
niggas food and drinks like that.
Well, not like that.
We was like, we're gonna buy everybody one round at this restaurant. We was like, nah, bro, they here chilling and the shit was taking way
and it was taking
longer.
way too long. So at this point, we just felt like
We'll get into that
you know,
that whole thing another time.
But
yeah, like the fact that like they was just there and they was rocking with us, that part I'm telling you, like it literally could bring tears to my eyes. That's how much it meant to me and how surprising it was. Like, yo, you really here rocking with me, bro. Like I'm not famous yet, my shit ain't blown up yet, but y'all literally here just rocking with me and I'm so grateful for that. And it's like, but I find it that when I tell you like I'm that emotional, like I was that emotional about it, but like I've been on other people's projects that I just decided to show up and support, and I could literally not get the same. I don't get that in like you don't even like you don't even seem that grateful. Like you're not giving that vibe. Like you don't give me the vibe of gratitude.
what if they're telling you, like, what if they're like saying like, hey, I thank you and stuff like that?
Come on now. We know because the actions. I don't care what you tell me. It's your actions. Like if what I'm doing for you is not that much of a if people want blessings. People want blessings. You can never get tired of blessings. So like for them to hit me up and be like, so for me to provide you with the blessing, what I feel is a blessing. Maybe it's again, hear me out, and at the end of it, I'll get to the point. So like, if what I'm providing, if I feel like what I'm providing is a blessing, you don't react as if it's a blessing, that tells me two things. What I provided you wasn't really a blessing, which is okay. I'll move on. Or the blessing that I provided you, you weren't grateful for it, which is okay. I'll move on. Either way, I can decipher on my own if I feel like, okay, that was a blessing. And the only reason I know it was a blessing is because the same shit that I've done for other people, I've had done for me. Because I do a lot. I do photography, I do sound engineering, music production, I do a lot of different services. But also like, even on a friend level of just going out of the way for a friend. And when people do that for me, how grateful for like, bro, you are literally a blessing to my life right now. And like for you to have, for me to have that energy when somebody does something for me, but then they not have that same energy, it just makes me realize that it's a dog eat dog world. Everybody else got their own shit. Everybody else trying to get rich too. Like everybody else working and all of that, trying to get their bread, get their next meal, trying not to fall victim to some homelessness or poverty out here. So like I get it. I'm not mad at it. But I gotta move on the same token. Mm-hmm. Like I gotta move on that same token because it's a dog eat dog world, and I refuse to let you become a victim of poverty and me to become a victim of poverty. Like, and I'm definitely gonna have my teeth showing, especially if I got a girl, cause like you one of my most prized possessions. So like, if like for all the people that want to say something, yeah, this is my possession. I own her right here. You know? But like, no, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and when I say you're my most prized possession, you're sacred to me. You know what I mean? So like,
Only real ones understand. It's
yeah,
okay.
only real ones understand. But like, and that was a good way to put that. But like, no, so like, to be honest with you, I'm really learning, like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, when I was saying like entrepreneurship, when it's lonely, it is very, very lonely, because like, nobody wants to see you succeed more than them. So you literally have to out chess them in the game to become successful. That's why like people that are at the top, I know how savage they had to be to get to the top. Cause you're not about to be polite to your competition. Fuck y'all. That's why some of the most dickish ass people is at the top, because you have to be that way to get to the top. It's like I'm being nice. There is nobody that ever niced your way to the top, nice their way to the top. Who has nice their way to the top? Like, that shit don't even make sense in a sentence. Yeah, I'm gonna just nice my way to the top. I'm gonna just be nice to everybody. They gonna want to see me at the top because I'm nice.
Excuse me, pardon me.
Yeah, like, fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of my way. That's who I'm becoming, because like, bro, I used to literally wash my cousin's cars. When I was a kid, I used to wash my family members' cars just because, one, I loved cars, but then I also used to love just doing stuff I was a people's pleaser.
That's what I'm saying, that act of service that you talked about.
Bro, but for some of the reactions that I've gotten from my own family members from putting my all behind them, and they literally make rumors about me and lie on me and say shit that's not true, fuck you. And I mean that cold-heartedly. Because if you're not investing in me the way that I've invested in you, you're nothing to me. Because I will put my everything behind you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what I'm learning about the world. And it goes deep, but like, is like, to be honest, that's really what I honestly, that's where I'm at in life. Like,
And I feel like it does suck when you get to that point where you have to be that cold. But I also realize that the older I am getting, I understand why people become some cold. Now, you don't have to become bitter. Becoming
not
bitter,
bitter.
is different. But
Yeah.
sometimes you have to become a little cold, because there are certain family members that you would think that, like, I have a aunt in my family that's doing really, really good. And she would help out as far as like when we were younger. She would do like incentives and stuff. So like for her nieces and nephews, every A was a 500, every B was like 200, I think, and every C, I don't remember if we got paid for C's or not. Maybe there have been maybe $50 or something, but then anything less than that you didn't get paid for. So she would do things like that when we were younger, and it's like that was her way of like still giving back and helping, but then also making sure that we're earning the help that she's gonna give. And I feel like you have to be that way. Like, I feel like the lesson I learned from that is that I will help you, but you have to like earn this help. You know what I mean? And a lot of people, they don't want to earn the help. They don't want to, they just want you to help them and give so much, and it's like they don't get nothing in return.
And because you're helping, it's like,
and it's not helping them by helping them.
Yes, and you know what's crazy? It reminds me of the dog mentality versus the cat mentality. And there's like a TikTok or a meme, or actually it was a podcast that said it when I heard. I don't know if they're the ones that created it, but that's where I heard it first. I don't even know the podcast. I wish I knew, because I would shout him out. But he was like, this is the difference. It was two guys. They were sitting on the couch, two white guys. And if y'all know what I know if y'all know what I'm talking about, like, tag them below, because we're like definitely, like, this is what I'm referring to it. So like, long story short, he was like, this is the difference between cats and dogs. A dog be like, you feed me, you wash me, you bathe me, like, you must be God. But then the cat is like, you feed me, you wash me, you bathe me, I must be God. Like, that's, and I feel like certain people are that way, like, where it's just like, they feel like because you're helping them, like, that's what you should be doing. Like, and I, like, fuck you. Like, who are you, bro, your boo-boo stink just like mine, bro. Like, who are you to be so entitled? And it's like, literally, I promised myself that I won't, I feel like being bitter is where I don't allow room for new relationships. Or I'm mean to the people that are around me. Like, for example, my wife, right? You're around me. You're invested in my success. You're emotionally invested in my success, as I am with you. But like, I've even been upset about stuff and apologized. Like, look, I'm sorry. I'm just having a rough day. Like, I shouldn't have. It's no excuse. I still shouldn't have taken it out on you. I'm sorry though. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I refused to let my anger, which anger is an important tool. Anybody tell you that they don't need anger is wrong. Like the only reason I've gotten as far as I've gotten in life is because of anger. Because that's the moment I start expressing anger is the moment where my life is like, I've had enough of this. I'm changing it, and I'm gonna do everything in my fucking
But
power
it's
to
all
change
how
it.
you express it.
Yes, it's how you express it. But like if, and to be honest with you, like when I got tired of being broke, I got angry about that shit and was like, fuck that. When I got in school, I got tired of being, you can just let it or you can just clip it.
I'm gonna clip it back on there.
Yeah, but like, you know,
I
so
started getting a little too comfortable.
yeah. Also get some therapy. That's important. I had to get therapy to realize I was angry and how to channel my anger. Like, you know what I'm saying? But
Right.
I'm starting to realize, you know, like life
Because
is,
even with the relationships, like we have each other to talk to, but there are some people out here that don't have nobody to talk to. And if you don't have nobody to talk to, there's nothing wrong with therapy. And I know sometimes like everyone can't afford therapy. So if you do have somebody that's your accountability partner, it is okay to have somebody to talk to. I don't think you should talk to a whole bunch of people. Because like even yesterday when we were in the car, like you were telling me that you were at like a dark place or you were like in like a low frequency
I
or
told you
something
I was
like
in
that.
pain.
You were in pain. That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
you
was
said
like,
you're
yo,
in
I'm in
pain,
pain, bro.
but then you really didn't want to talk to me because you felt like you didn't want to be a burden on me because you were like so many other people are already like throwing so many other things at you. You was like, well, I don't want to be just adding to it. But I also feel like in relationships, everything's not perfect. And you made a comment before that you're just talking about people not wanting to really work through a relationship. Relationships are not easy. It's not. I deal with some things that I wish that like if I was like by myself, you wouldn't have to experience. But because you're with me, you experience my good and my bad days. Like I can't hide certain things from you that I could hide from people in the world because you see me all the time. And when
Yeah.
we go home in our house, that's when we let our hair down. That's when we really show our authentic self. We're authentic anyway. Like we can't help but to be authentic because that's just ourselves. But just
Take that hair off your mic.
certain things that people would not understand or see, you get to see. And sometimes like it could be hard, but I'm also learning in my relationship that I have to talk to you. But then it also depends on the person because there are certain people that maybe just aren't ready to be in a relationship to handle that responsibility because relationships is a big responsibility. And but I also, where you are right now, I feel like if there is ever anything that's like, there's things that bother me, you're like, Victoria, you should come to me. And as much as I don't want to sometimes, I still come to you because I feel like it's fair for you to know what's going on with me. So then I'm not like lashing out on you like, oh, where's this coming from your perspective? Because you don't know that I'm internally dealing with something. And if I'm coming to you and you're just acting like everything's okay, but you're internally dealing with something, you're going to show it out to me. You're going to lash back out to me and not even realizing that you're doing it or why you're doing it because there's something that you're just not talking about. But I feel like relationships should be able to have that safe space where someone can come to them and they can talk to them and they can show emotions. Even with you being a man, I feel like you should still be able to show emotions to me in your household, and I should be able to respect you because then what you got to do when you leave that household is still go back to like doing what you're doing. And just because you show some emotions doesn't take any lack from being a man or lack of being a strong woman or whatever characteristics you have. I feel like it does help.
Yeah, right. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. I don't know. I feel like relationships make you more powerful than people outside of a relationship.
They
so.
say most people start becoming successful when they're in relationships. I'm like just waiting on, waiting.
Because I'm sorry, but like because you were with me in my most downest of times, you at least deserve a rich husband. Like you deserve for your husband to be rich. And I ain't talking about another motherfucker either. I'm talking about me. Like that's really where I'm at. So like, if I gotta go out in the world, take a few bruises, but build something though. You know
But I
what I'm
feel like imagine what you said. You go out, you take the bruises, and then you come home. As a nurturing woman, I feel like it's okay for you to show your emotional side, but still, because you're still showing your comforting and what's the word I'm looking for? You're providing and protecting side as well.
Yeah.
And then it's like I'm preparing you to go back out into the world versus like coming home to all this negative and toxic situation. Like that's not going to help anybody. So what that's going to do is like when you do go back out in the world, you're going to start finding that other nurturing that you're not getting at home, and then that's I feel like when issues are. Because like with us, I don't think you can answer this honestly. Have you ever cheated on me? What keeps you from really cheating on me?
There's a few things. Time. I'm scared of diseases. I'm really afraid of disease. Like STDs Like, look, I was 17. I caught chlamydia one time, bruh. And I was 17. I would never forget it. It was the worst. Because just outside of, because even like the symptoms wasn't that bad. I was a little uncomfortable. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was a little uncomfortable, but it was just the psychology that the psychological state that I was in when I found out. And I wasn't even being nasty out here. I was talking to a girl. I wasn't, and I've never really been like, I will say the most that I've ever, like, I've never really had that whole phase where I'm just like out here like fucking like 4 bitches a week, 5 bitches a week. Like, I've never had that before. I've always been the type where like the most I've ever had sex with during like more, like the amount of women that I've had sex with in 1 week was probably 2. And that probably would be like once in a year. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's just like I so happen to be like, I'm talking to this, like every girl that I've had sex with though, it's been very rare where like most of the women that I've had sex with have been women that I've been friends with.
Right.
Like we kind of date a little bit, you know what I mean, before we have sex, and then like, all right, if it don't really work, we split. But like, it's never been like it. I can't say it's never, but it's less times. It's a not minority of times of like we're like, all right, we know why we here. We fucking getting this shit over with. It was a girl I was actually talking to that I caught her from. But like, I felt so disgusting and nasty. It made me never. It made me look at women as nasty too. Like, not nasty as like y'all disgusting, but just as in like, ugh. Like,
You just gotta be careful.
I don't even want to touch no woman right now. I just want to just stop having sex altogether. Like, so like, but no, I'm afraid of STDs. Also, I don't like the idea of like me. I just feel like that's the most. I would feel personally. I would feel trifling if I brought home an STD to you. I would feel very I would feel trifling within my own spirit. Like, yeah, I would feel just nasty about like, I'm a dirty nigga if I go out here and have sex and then I bring like, you know what I'm saying, I bring some shit home. Like, that would, and that's a fucked up way to get caught cheating as well.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, yeah, like between that and then like getting someone pregnant, like just all the foul things that like certain people deal with in relationships. Like, I am grateful that I don't have to deal with that. And I think the biggest thing that keeps me from cheating is just, I thoroughly don't, like, if I say I love you, I don't want to hurt you. And for people that I love, I just cannot hurt them. Like, I'm that person, because I loved you, I won't hurt you, but I always end up getting hurt in a way because people who say they love me still hurt me. Right. But I will never hurt somebody that I love. Yeah. And so I don't know, that's why my circle is very small, and that's also why I feel like I could never do it, because it's just I can't come home. Like, I would be that person that would have to tell you that I cheated. And it's like, if I can tell you I cheated because my heart is that heavy weight that I'm carrying on my heart, that I created, you know, that foul crime or whatever, and then come home and have to tell you anyway, why couldn't I have told you that whatever was leading me to feel that way to actually do it, why didn't I communicate with that before? Because either way, it's going to be an uncomfortable conversation. So I just feel like me personally, if I ever get to the point where my relationship is just not where it's going, I feel like I'm just that type of person. I'm going to tell you. Like, I feel like even with friendships, if things are just not going the way they are, I have told some friends that, hey, this is just not what I'm looking to be a part of. This just isn't the type of friendship I want. And I just feel like if more people would do that, they would stop faking it, because faking it is literally one of my pet peeves. I do not like fake people.
Yeah,
I really don't. I really just don't. I just feel like it's too much work to be fake, my opinion. And
honestly,
I don't know how to do it.
I really don't like a fake person.
I don't know how to be fake.
Fake people are dead to me, and I have some fake people, especially some relatives. Like, and the only reason maybe I keep saying some relatives, because I've been hurt a lot by family. I feel like I've been hurt most by family. But like,
they say the people closest to you are the ones that hurt you.
I done had some snake ass shit that I still haven't healed from because I never addressed it, and I really wish I would have addressed it. And
as years go on, you feel like
the more that shit fester, and it be like, the more I see you, the more I just want to slap you across. But then there's
also, imagine how many people will be like, oh, it's going on 3 years, 5, 10 years.
You should be over that by now.
Yeah, and it's like that. It doesn't work like that, and because it doesn't work like that, I'm the type of person that if I have a problem with you, I have to get it off my chest, because if not, it's just going to sit there and boil and boil. And one thing that I don't like is situations where people tell you don't say something and you listen, and then you start feeling like, okay, now I'm the one that's still being affected because all these other people are walking around like they're fine, but
Everything
like
is
it's still
okay.
bothering
Yeah.
you. So at the end of the day, if something's bothering you, I think you should say it. I think it's the way you say it and the way you address somebody that you definitely have to go into a factor. So like, for example, an incident that may have happened with you where I'm like, okay, are you ready to go right now? You know, like it's probably bothering you. So because you're still heated in that moment, it just happened. Don't have that conversation the same day,
Yeah.
but maybe give yourself time to boil down and then have the conversation tomorrow or a few hours later, depending where
Yeah.
you're at. If it's a situation where you're on a trip and it happens that day, maybe give yourself time to talk about it later that afternoon. Just give yourself enough time, but
Right.
don't give yourself too much time to the point where it's going on 3 months, 2 hours, 6 days, 5 years, and now you're trying to address the situation. Because at that point, you do have no choice but to kind of move on.
Yeah. I feel you. I feel you on that. I feel you. I think also too, if I never addressed it and I move on and I become a new person, I just learned that I have to be okay with the person that I become. Now I'm less likely to tolerate somebody bullshit.
That's why I can't wait for our new song, The Hill, to come out.
Hill,
When
yeah.
Hill comes out, man, that is a song that it really just resonates with this conversation. And I'm just really excited. If you haven't already checked out Look Good, I'll put the link in the bio.
Yeah. We're shooting a video for that.
We are
so
shooting a
excited.
video, so I'll let you guys know when the video is
Yeah.
ready. But yeah, for Hill, I can't wait. Like, we got to get that out. We got to get it out. I don't know when, but it needs to come now.
Yeah. So on a more positive note, what are some things you see yourself working on? Like, what are you working on now? What do you got going on this year?
Like, for just me personally?
Yeah, 2022. It's like we in the middle of it now. It's like I feel like
I
2022
know.
just started, but we at the end of that.
I know. Time goes by so
Yeah,
fast.
we almost to October. That's pretty much.
That's
the
a
mark.
great question.
Like,
I feel like me and you have been having this conversation where we're going back to the basics, right?
yeah.
We're going back to the basics.
Oh, you do be listening.
I listen, bruh. That's one thing that I realized in a relationship. You have to listen.
Yeah.
Like, you're not listening right now.
I'm just watching my surroundings.
I know,
bro.
but you're good. They're good. Just make sure they don't come in through the doors. But no, like, I feel like with me, because we'll go back to the basics, I released a book back in 2018. 19, 20, 21, 22. 4 years ago, I released a book, and I feel like I never really put the marketing behind the book. I was actually nervous to release the book, and now I'm really just like, no, like,
It's such a good book, though.
it really is. And like, for my first book, I'm thoroughly proud of it. For it to be my first book that I've ever written, I don't think it's a trash book.
See it through, my boy.
I am,
You gotta
and
see it
and that's
through.
what I'm working on. So right now I've been going back to the basics, and the book is actually it's going to be on Amazon. It's going to be on my own website. The book is going to be an audio. It's going to be ebook, and it's going to be a hard print copy.
Yeah.
And I'm getting ready to release the book, and I'm getting ready to put a lot of marketing behind it. So that's one thing I'm actively working on. I still have music coming out, and I am going to start releasing the podcast. I was releasing on Tuesdays. I think I'm going to start releasing it once a week on Wednesdays. On Saturdays, I'm going to start doing collaborations with people. So on certain Saturdays, I'm not sure when that's going to start yet, but on certain Saturdays, anything like it's going to be
I would
me.
do one Saturday
It's going
a
to be
month.
it's going to be me and you and like other people. We're going to start bringing people on our podcast. So collaboration is a big thing, and then also I'm going to start showing like a little snippets of like a vlog of like the lifestyle that I'm dealing with regarding just being in a relationship and also the struggles that we're dealing with being in a relationship and building a business.
Hell yeah, because I just beat your ass last night.
If you say so.
No,
I could be a good
We
support.
already said what we did. We literally watched Rick and Morty. We were drunk.
Rick and
watched Rick and
Morty.
Morty live. Talked through Rick and Morty.
And went to sleep.
And then went to sleep. Like we had.
I
such
don't
a
even know
good
if we
time
cuddled last night.
Nah.
Because you have this thing lately, like, he has this thing because he has braids now. I don't know if y'all realize what's new with him, but he has braids. And when I told him to wear his scarf. And when I say he wears his scarf, he wears it. And
Yeah.
it's just to the point where, like, I think you put your scarf on, you have this thing where you'll lay like this every now and then, and I think you went to sleep. I'm like, I kept looking over, I was like, is he still watching TV? You was knocked out. This is how you look now. But yeah, so what about you? What are you working on?
So I'm working on a few things. So I've been studying real estate like crazy. We've gotten like the business entities and stuff set up, so we've just been like I've just been going back to the basics. Like you can't have a business without having all of your banking situations set up. So I've just been like making sure, going back over all of that, making sure that's all set up. Looking for a CPA, things of that nature. Then also producing music, building the clientele for that, building a catalog, and then just mainly like focusing on what direction I want to go in life. Oh, my fitness. That's what I've been on. I've been on the
Yes.
fitness. I've been like boxing, training, like working out, lifting weights, doing a lot of cardio, just getting in shape. I've quit smoking
You feel
vapes.
better?
Oh my God, I feel so much better. Yeah, I've quit smoking vapes. I will say
Yes, and if y'all know, if y'all seen, if y'all go back to Breaking Old Habits, that was back, I think we released that in June, I believe. But if you go back to, or July, it might have been July. If you go back to that episode, we talked about one of.
All right, guys. Well, I do appreciate your time today. If you've enjoyed the conversation, please like, comment, and subscribe. Yes, look
Until next
good.
time.
Link in the bio. You go check that out. We're also going to be dropping some merch, and we're filming a new video. We got some stuff we're working on. So I appreciate you guys' patience with everything as we're building it. But if you've been here for the journey this long, we love you guys.
Until next time, go be great.